The Rohingya genocide refers to the systematic persecution and violence against the Rohingya Muslim minority in Myanmar, predominantly by the Myanmar military and some Buddhist nationalist groups. Here is a detailed overview of the history and key events leading to and encompassing the genocide. Historical context. Pre-colonial and colonial era. The Rohingya are an ethnic Muslim group with historical roots in the Rakhine state of Myanmar, formerly known as Arakan. Historical records suggest that the Rohingya have lived in this region for centuries. During the British colonial period, which spanned from 1824 to 1948, there was significant migration of labourers between modern-day Bangladesh and Myanmar. This migration blurred ethnic and national identities. Post-independence. After Myanmar gained independence from Britain in 1948, the Rohingya were initially recognised as an ethnic group with voting rights and representation in parliament. However, subsequent governments began to view them with suspicion, partly due to their distinct ethnic and religious identity and their perceived connection to the British colonial rule. Rising discrimination and exclusion. Citizenship Law of 1982. The Myanmar government enacted a new citizenship law in 1982, which effectively rendered the Rohingya stateless by denying them citizenship. The law required proof of ancestral residence before 1823, which most Rohingya could not provide. Ongoing persecution. Over the decades, the Rohingya have faced increasing restrictions on their movement, education, employment, and religious practices. They have been subjected to periodic violence, often incited by nationalist and extremist rhetoric. The genocide. 2012 violence. In 2012, communal violence broke out in Rakhine State, leading to deaths and displacement of thousands of Rohingya. The violence was sparked by allegations of rape and murder, but quickly escalated into widespread attacks against the Rohingya. 2016 and 2017 military campaigns. The situation escalated dramatically in 2016 and 2017 when the Myanmar military launched clearance operations following attacks on police posts by a Rohingya militant group. The military's response was brutal and disproportionate, involving mass killings, gang rapes, and the burning of villages. The UN and various human rights organizations have described these acts as ethnic cleansing and genocide. These violent campaigns forced over 700,000 Rohingya to flee to neighbouring Bangladesh, creating one of the world's largest refugee crises. The refugees settled in camps in the Cox's Bazar district, including the Kutupalong refugee camp, which is now the largest refugee camp in the world. International response. Human rights investigations. Numerous investigations and reports by the United Nations, Human Rights Watch, Amnesty International and other organizations have documented the atrocities committed against the Rohingya. In 2019, the Gambia filed a case against Myanmar at the International Court of Justice, accusing it of genocide. The ICJ ordered Myanmar to take measures to protect the Rohingya from further persecution. Continued struggles. Despite international pressure, the situation remains dire for the Rohingya both within Myanmar and in refugee camps. They continue to face discrimination, and their return to Myanmar remains uncertain due to safety concerns and the lack of guarantees for their rights. Current situation. As of now, the Rohingya crisis remains unresolved. Efforts to repatriate the Rohingya to Myanmar have largely stalled, and those in refugee camps continue to live in precarious conditions. The international community continues to call for accountability and justice for the atrocities committed against the Rohingya. but significant challenges remain in achieving a durable solution. The Rohingya genocide is a tragic example of ethnic and religious persecution, highlighting the importance of international human rights protections and the need for comprehensive solutions to address the root causes of such conflicts.